Alright everybody, welcome back to another video. So today's video, I'm working on the Pioneer 700 and I'm going to be replacing the driver's side front axle shaft. So if we take a look here, you can see that got some pretty good damage to the boot. I don't know exactly what happened. I just noticed it was all twisted up one day. It's still riding okay. It's just a matter of time before enough grease gets slung out that becomes an issue. So most likely probably caused by physical damage. We could remove the axle and replace just the boot, which would work, and then we could put it back together. I was able to pick up a brand new Caltric brand axle on eBay. It's pretty much just OEM quality axle, and the OEM axles aren't really known for being that great, but I don't really do a lot of serious off-roading. This is more of a utility machine. So I'm just going to show you how to replace a front axle, whether it be because the axle breaks, or in my case, you know, you need a boot repair, and then I can always fix this at my leisure, and then I'll have a spare. Alright, so I'm going to be using my lift. Obviously, you don't need that at all. You really just have to jack up this side of the machine just to take the weight off the axle and to support it. I would probably support it with a jack stand on the frame behind the wheel, and then up here in the middle of the machine as well. Alright, so first thing, 19mm socket. I'm going to take the wheel off. Alright, so it's a good idea to put a floor jack under the bottom here. What we're going to do is kind of take the weight off. This will kind of keep the suspension from being able to force things when we take them off. So the upper ball joint here, we're gonna want to disconnect. First we need to get the brake caliper out of the way. Make it easy, it's a good time to inspect everything. So 12mm. This little plastic shield that's in the way. Looks like it's held on with a couple of 10mm. Alright, so a couple 10mm bolts it looks like. Okay, got the shield out of the way. The shield that did not do its job. Alright, so there's our caliper out of the way. Another little 10mm bolt holding the hose right here. I'm just gonna pop that out, make it a little easier to get the caliper up out of the way. We don't have to worry about it. Is a castle nut with, try to get this retaining pin straightened out. There's grease all over everything from the hole in the boot. Alright, so I've got it kind of straightened out. It helps to have like a little pick or something. There's the second half of it. Alright, so next we're going to take a 17mm. Looks like there is a washer. You don't lose it. Alright, so although it might not be completely necessary, I'm going to let the jack down. That way the whole weight of the suspension is off of the spring. I think I'm gonna go ahead and pop out this strut here, just so it'll make it come free easier. Alright, you can see there's no weight in that, so it's safe. Just get it kind of out of the way. See, that gives us a little more play. Hopefully you saw that. Just popped loose. I did thread the nut back on a little bit. Okay. Okay, so obviously we've got to take this nut off out here. And this one will come out a little bit easier. Try to help it through a little bit of that corrosion. Alright, I'm sure this is a metric size. My 1 3/16 socket fits good, so. It feels like the axle's pretty loose, but I'm just gonna knock it loose. I'm gonna thread this back on most of the way. Just kind of make sure we're loose. So now, if I kind of lower this, that comes out of there. Get this pushed through here. All right, I don't want to tear up that bearing. Actually, just turning the steering wheel give me enough play to get that out of there. All right, so you can see where it goes into the case there. It's a good idea if you can get a pry bar in here at all to try to kind of work it loose. But there is one way that will work, especially if you're not going to reuse the axle. This is to grab it. Let's get this out of here. Grab it and a quick yank. Make sure you're grabbing it in the middle and not on this side because you don't want to yank that apart. Okay. All right, so here's the new Caltric brand axle next to the old Honda one. I don't know if you can see on the video, but it is looks like a little bit slightly larger diameter on the shaft. It's a little bit stronger. Besides that, obviously very similar. This one's got, the new one's got painted ends on this side. It does come with a cotter pin and a new castle nut for the end. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use some high temp wheel bearing grease. Gonna lube up both spline shaft areas and where it seals. And then I will get the new axle put in place. Just wanna make sure there's no tears in your seal, everything looks good. If you see any dirt, kind of like try to get it out of there. And same thing down here, I'll clean this up a little bit, re-grease it, and then we'll get this all put back together. Alright, get that one in. I'm just gonna kind of try to bend this one in to place. Like that. Probably help to have the jack come up, give us some support. Okay. Pushed in. At the same time, kind of letting the upper ball joint kind of go back into position here. Let this down a little bit. Okay. So from here on out, it's pretty simple. It's the reverse of removal. Make sure you put a new cotter pin everywhere, unless you're able to save it and it's not rusted. Just gotta get the hole in the castle nut once it's tight, lined up. All right, since I didn't actually need to take this one out, I'm just gonna make sure we get all our cotter pins back in everywhere. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and use this new castle nut, and the torque specs on the castle nut here is 101 foot-pounds. I'm just gonna snug it down a little bit like this. So we know that's set. Our new cotter pin. Put that in there. Make sure everything's good with your brakes. Get everything put back good. You can see I've got like almost no wear on these pads. And then obviously our last step, we're going to put the wheel and tire back on. All right, we're going to call that a repair. Hopefully the video was helpful. If you have any questions or comments, be sure to leave them in the comment section below. Like the video if it helped you out. Subscribe for more. Until next time, thanks for watching.